Hello and welcome to another ColDesi Daily. 4 business books to do now is today's topic. This is Mark Stevenson from ColDesi. And I have been reading business books for about 20 plus years now, and there are only a few that I've been able to finish because what I find is that most of them are useful in a really kind of abstract, theoretical sense, or honestly, they're just not designed to speak to people like us, people that run small businesses. For a lot of these folks, like the Ray DeValos and even the Tony Robbins and others in the business community, a lean startup or a small business is one that's only been funded with a couple of $1 million, not a couple of $1,000, like most of us in this particular business. So what I have narrowed this kind of down to is 4 business books that I love, that I've read more than once, and I would suggest you do as well. And one thing that they all have in common is that there are to-do lists within each book. They're basically based around different lists of things that you can take action on right now. So I'm going to go through these 4 books. Some are new, some are old, and I hope that you get a little bit out of each one. So I'm starting with the oldest here, probably the first one of these, definitely the first one of these I've read, which is The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. Now this has been revised over the years, and every time there are changes made, the book just gets better. But the fundamental premise of this book is all about the way entrepreneurs typically get started in a business. Normally, you are interested in an activity or you are doing a job for somebody else. Like let's say that you work in an embroidery business and you run the embroidery machine and you feel like you do all the work, like your skill is what's making the business. Or you are in you're in a delivery job or a factory, or you work for a company, a big company doing marketing or sales, and you kind of look at that part of the business and think to yourself that this is what the whole business is. And Michael Gerber kind of disavows you of that illusion by forcing you to do this. In its fundamental form, the E-Myth is about you taking a look at everything that it takes to run a business, everything that's going to take to run your business that you're going to start or one that you've got right now, and breaking those down into individual jobs. Now, I put down the 5 biggest categories, or the 5 main categories that every business has to deal with. So you can start thinking about these. And what Michael Gerber suggests is that you take a look at you're going to be the accounting in your business, or you're going to do the accounting. You're going to do the sales in your business. You're going to do the marketing. You're going to do the production. You're going to take care of inventory. You're going to be the cleaner. You're going to be the delivery person. You're going to take a list of all the individual jobs that it takes a company to run. Even if the company is you in the back bedroom of your house or running a retail shop at a big shopping mall or something like that. There are individual jobs. And what Michael suggests is that you write a job description for each one of these. So I love that exercise, and I'd really like you to do that. If you look at everything that you do, your employees do, or the things that you should do every day, what a big company has departments for, then you can get an idea of what has to be accomplished to make your business successful. And Michael suggests that you write a job description for each one of these. So as your business grows, let's say that you are really into this business for the production. You're a custom t-shirt printer and you really love to actually print the shirts, to run the screen printing press, to operate a DTG printer, to run an embroidery machine. Or you are the creative type. There's artwork. That's a whole department in a lot of big businesses. And if you really just want to do the artwork, you're going to write job descriptions for each one of these things and realize that you're going to have to do them all. And if you're not going to do them all yourself, then you've got a piece of paper or a document on your computer that says, okay, my business is now too big for me to handle the books. I'm terrible at it and I hate it. I'm going to go find somebody that can do that. The same thing with sales. Since I really never learned enough about marketing, so as soon as I can, I'm going to take this job descriptions I've got and I'm going to hire a marketing person. Now that can be a contractor, like you could sub out a bookkeeper. You could pay somebody commission sales. You could bring somebody in to do production. You can farm out your artwork to somebody like ColDesi-graphics.com. You could do any of those things, but it's this way of thinking about your business as a series of job descriptions that someone has to do. And if you're the one that's doing them, that's great. But if you have an opportunity to take one out that someone else can do better to the betterment of your business, then you'll have this kind of system, this list that you can say, okay, accounting is first. I can farm the bookkeeping out for very little money. I think it's a good move. I'll be able to spend more time on sales or on production or on actually keeping track of inventory. So that is the E-Myth by Michael Gerber. The next one up is a newer book. I really love this because honestly, there's some great math involved. Buying Customers by Brad Sugars. He is a business consultant and he's got people working for him around the world. But what I like is the way he breaks things up into different categories, different parts of a sale, and figures out how you can make more money from each one. And what he does is he'll list out these are the 5 big ones, which is lead generation, conversion rate, number of transactions, the average sale value, and the profit margin. And if you look at his book, there's a spot in it where you realize, and he walks you through why, if you can increase any one of these 5 boxes, for example, it makes a huge impact down at the bottom line. Like you don't have to look at your business and say, oh my God, my sales were $100,000 last year. I really need to make $200,000. So I need to increase my sales by 100%. No, what it could be is lead generation is the number of inquiries that you get into your business about printing custom shirts or doing embroidery or whatever it is you do. So it's how much can you increase lead generation? If I can increase lead generation by 10%, if my conversion rate stays the same, if my number of transactions stays the same, if my average sales stays the same, and my profit stays the same, I'll still make more money because I have more people coming into the system. Now, conversion rate is the number of leads that you turn into sales. Well, if all the rest of these stay the same, but let's say currently out of every 10 people that come to my website and ask for pricing or call me up or send me an email, out of 10 people, one of them will buy a set of custom t-shirts or a custom t-shirt. That's a conversion rate of 10%. Well, if you can increase your conversion rate by 2%, then what does that do? It increases the number of transactions, the average sale can stay the same, the profit margin can stay the same, but your revenues are going to go up. The same with the number of transactions. If you can make your average sale go up, which we talk about on the Custom Apparel Startups podcast all the time, if you can increase if your lead generation stays the same, if your conversion rate stays the same, if your number of transactions stays the same, but you can increase your average sale by a little bit, that'll have a huge impact on your bottom line at the end of the year. And the same goes with the profit margin. Let's say that you're operating right now at a 50% profit margin. If you can increase that just a little bit to 55 or 60%, that's going to have a huge impact on the bottom line. So the first step in Buying Customers by Brad Sugars is going to be to list these 5 things and then write down your numbers for the past few months. How many leads have you gotten in? That's how many phone calls and emails. How many of those have you turned into sales? And that's your conversion rate. How many total transactions did you do? What was your average sale amount? And what was your profit margin on each? And then see what happens when you increase each individual one of these, or 1 or 2 of these that you can focus on, and just watch the magic that happens in your business, because you'll make more money, you'll make more sales, and you'll be a healthier business if you break down the process into this and then you concentrate on increasing each one of these or one or two of them just a small amount over time. So Buying Customers by Brad Sugars, I really love that book. Now, Profit First is really, it's something else. So this is a system of, let's call it an alternate accounting system. Mike Michalowicz, we had him on the podcast, on the CAS podcast a while back. And what Profit First does is it encourages you to look at your business as a business instead of just what fills your bank account. The way most entrepreneurs work is they have one account that all the money goes into, and they run their business every month on the cash flow that comes in and the cash flow that goes out. And then when their mortgage payment comes up, they try to find enough money in the bank to pay that. When the taxes come up, they try to find enough money in the bank to pay that. So that's not a great way to run your business. And if you use an accountant right now, they're probably speaking in language that don't really make sense to the way you run your business. For example, I've had conversations with accountants, at the end of a business quarter, and they'll say something like, "Congratulations, it looks like you made, $6,000 or $7,000 in profit over the quarter." And it'll be like, that's awesome. Where is it? It's nowhere. That's just numbers on the balance sheet or the profit and loss statement. So what Mike Michalowicz suggests is that you have at least 5 different bank accounts and the discipline to move money in between. This is kind of a trick for your brain. So you're looking at different places. You're looking at different accounts for different purposes. So you can't go into one account to pay another casually. You'll never run out of money at the end of the month and be surprised by it. So the simple form is, and you should read the book again or listen to the podcast, the simple approach is to have these 5 accounts that you see on your screen, and all the money that your customers pay you come into an income account. It's probably a checking account. And then the rest can be savings accounts that you withdraw money from, or checking accounts. It really doesn't matter. They can be at different banks, and that's kind of ideal because it makes it even harder for you to move money from one place to another and rob Peter to pay Paul. But they can also be in the same bank, just named differently. So all of your money is going to come into the income account, and then you are going to take money right off the top for profit. Now you can start at 1%, you can start at 5% or 10% or something smaller. Profit, by the way, is the money that's left in your bank at the end of the month minus everything else. So it's not the money that you take and pay yourself with. All right, it's more like the money that's left over. The reason that you have a business is to generate money that you're not going to use right away. So you can go on a nice vacation or upgrade your house or buy a new car or do something fun or meaningful with it. So the first thing after you're going to do when you get income in is you're going to take a percentage of that and put it in the profit category, in the profit bank account. It can be as little as 1%. It really doesn't matter where you start as long as you actually start. Now, the next line item off that income that you're going to take is you are going to give yourself owner's pay. Figure out what percentage of every order that you get, of every check that comes in, you need to pay yourself. Because you will be paying yourself, it's just whether or not you recognize it or not. You may be paying yourself in the expenses to live your life that you pay, but you should recognize that by taking income out. Let's say it's 25%. So maybe you take your check comes in and you take 2% and put it in profit. You take 25% and put it in owner's pay, and figure out what your taxes are that you're going to pay every quarter. You're going to have to pay taxes. So separate that out and put it into a tax account. And then understand that you have operating expenses, and that is, what do you need to spend on equipment and equipment maintenance and supplies and licenses and fees and employee expenses, etc. So that's 5 different accounts. All of the money comes into income, and then you are taking a rational look at that money and you're dividing it up into different bank accounts so you can better manage what happens with it at the end of the month and the end of the quarter. So I really like this approach because It translates what happens in accounting, your taxes, and all the fees and everything that you've got to pay, and the language that people use to talk about business, and what really matters in the money in your business. What's the income that's coming in for how many sales are you making? What's coming in? How much profit can you set aside? What are you paying yourself? Are you setting aside money for taxes and the operating expenses to run your business? There's a lot more to this book, which is why I suggest you read it. But if you did nothing else but read the first few chapters and start with these 5 things, I think you'd be way ahead of the game. All right, this is one that I've relied on. It's in the T-shirt book, the How to Start a Custom T-shirt Business book. It's been in almost every online class that I've designed and given, and that's the One-Page Marketing Plan by Allan. What I really like about this is there is literally a one-page plan. In the course, you can download it. You can definitely find it online, and you can read this book. But it really divides up the sales process, and that's what we're talking about here. It's how do you find and inspire people to buy things from you. It's divided up into the before you find your customers, or how you find customers. During that customer from a prospect to becoming a customer strategy, and then after they are a customer, how do you deliver an excellent experience and make them come back and give you referrals? So in the before category, it's a great idea to think about who your target customer is. You can't say everybody. That just doesn't work unless you're not even Walmart has everybody for a customer, right? So you're going to find your target market, and that could be, it's also called the niche market. It could be anything from cheerleading, it could be schools, it could be small businesses, it could be plumbers or electricians or electric companies. You could be in the uniform business or promotional products business for specific types of companies or consumers. Then you're going to work on the message that you want to deliver. So are you a bootstrap small business just like your customer that is going to focus on customer service to win devoted customers? Are you a big business dealing with another big business and you are going to focus on your pricing? What is your message? What is that approach you're going to take to your market? For ColDesi, our message is that we help people achieve dreams. We do that by providing them with the equipment, the training, and the support they need to take their creative ideas of becoming a custom t-shirt or embroidery professional and turning it into the success and the dream that they desire. So that's our message. And the media that you're going to use, how are you going to reach your customers? Is it going to be all word of mouth? Are you going to do markets and trade shows? Are you going to go to events? Are you going to use Facebook and Google ads? How are you going to get to customers? That's before they come into your universe. You're deciding basically who your customers are, how you're going to talk to them, and the media that you're going to use to reach them. Now, during that process of them becoming your customer, this lead capture is important because how are you going to bring them into your universe, right? Are you going to do like we did? And there's an ebook out there, how to get into the custom t-shirt business. You can download, and it's very useful. And then you'll give us your email address, and we will then market to you. Are you going to have a sign-up sheet at a market or on the counter in a retail space? Are you going to collect business cards when you're out doing networking events? Or are you going to go door to door? How are you going to get those customers to give you their information? Nurturing is after you get that lead information, that email or phone number, what are you going to do to convince them to do business with you? How are you going to make them feel good about your company and who you are? How are you going to provide value that makes them want to do business with you versus someone else? And then the conversion strategy is, how do you get them to that decision point? Are you going to offer a sale price or a buy one, get one? Or is there a specific event? What are you going to do to move them from I'm shopping for custom t-shirts to I'm going to buy them from you? And then after the sale, it's all about customer experience. It's all about increasing that long-term value and referrals. How are you going to handle each one of these things? So you can see, like, it's a really simple set of ideas, but there's a lot of work that can go into that one-page plan. So the one-page marketing plan by Allan is a great book. All right, so that was 4 books, 4 really sets of to-do lists that I think that that would be definitely worth your while to devote some time to. If your business is slow right now, if you are at home fighting with the kids, these are things that you can do to work on your business from a business perspective. Now, if you haven't started yet and you're just getting into this business, man, I'll tell you, you can pick any one of these businesses and it will really set you up for success. For more of these ColDesi dailies, then I would go to the webpage, ColDesi.com. That's our homepage, /ColDesi-daily. You'll find all kinds of video tips, to-do lists, and articles that will definitely keep you motivated and help your business in the future.